How you doing?
Well, good morning, Napa Valley. Just like that, we are on the air. This is the Lee and Desi Show.
Yes, and I'm Desi Capaz.
And I'm Lee W. Miller. We are realtors with Heritage Sotheby's, and we are happy to have not only our regular sponsor, Tom McDonald of Reverse Mortgage, Signet Reverse Mortgage, but we also have Team Hagler in the house today.
Woo!
Yeah, that's Mark Hagler.
Good morning.
They are lenders with Home Street Bank, and they are a lot of fun, and we're happy to have them. So we're going to be talking with them in a little bit. But just real quickly before we do that, we also have some other things in our second half that we're going to be talking about, not the least of which is our This Day in History and our real estate trivia. But we also want to plug a couple of events. Aren't you excited about Restaurant Week, Desi?
Oh, I'm very excited.
Yeah, I started last night.
I was just going to say, I started Saturday night, but yeah.
Well, so you paid regular price Saturday. You're doing your part to support the economy.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, I was at El Posto last night, and so did the first Restaurant Week. I hope to have at least 4 times that I take advantage of Restaurant Week. And then we also have the Napa Valley Gala. This is a really cool event coming up on March 31st. It is a charity event sponsored by Realtors, Napa Valley Realtors. And so we are raising money for the fire victims, and we're going to have a big, huge bash of a party with an open bar. Did you hear that right?
Yeah. So open bar.
I know. It caught you so flat-footed you were speechless there for a minute. So we have a great evening of wonderful food and dancing and an open bar, and it's only $100 a ticket, and that's going to be on March 31st, and it's open to the entire community, and you can find more information on that at nvgala.com. NV as in Napa Valley. And now, welcome, Team Hagler. You guys are going to need to get real close to the microphones. It's a good thing you're married and you can just talk cheek to cheek for the next 25 minutes.
Yes, we are crazy. We are married and we do work as a team. So
yes,
it does work for us, though.
Yes, and you guys do such a great job.
Well, that's what I want to ask you. How do you guys, being married and working together, how does that all work? Tell the people out there, because I know some can't do this.
Oh my gosh. Boy, a lot of our coaching is spent around how do we have that
separation
life and separation of work and family life. But I think our skill set is we're yin and yang totally. So it does work really well as far as what we bring individually to the business.
Well, that's great. If you both have separate responsibilities, then there's not the collision or the contradiction. You both excel in what you do, and you excel so much, you are like the top producing lenders in Napa Valley, right?
I think we're one of them, yeah.
Oh, okay. He's being modest.
Yeah.
Well, I know firsthand because you helped me buy my home, and I've referred a lot of business to you, and the clients have always been very, very thrilled. And one of the things that I just can't go through this 20 minutes with you guys and not bring up is how much all the clients, myself included, so appreciate that when they do encounter an obstacle, and they do. I mean, that's just the nature of buying a home post-meltdown. There are so many documents, so much proof, so much information that you require that there's going to be obstacles along the way. And it's not from you. It's not from Home Street per se. It's just that's the way that it is. But you are very patient and very kind, and you educate people and you nurture them through the whole process. And it just makes the experience so much more palatable. It doesn't make it enjoyable. I don't think anyone, that's going too far. You guys are great, but no one can make the whole loan application process enjoyable per se. But at the end of the day, it works out because they get a house.
We get to listen to the music. I have no clue why it went on, but we get to listen to it.
Yeah, we do like this music. Welcome back. We are experiencing technical difficulties. But we soldier on. See,
Mark Kelly.
We were just talking about sometimes you're going to get obstacles along the way. And it's a good thing Mark and Kelly are here because they're going to help us get through those.
Well, I think we've been clean. We had a clean record until Kelly.
I know. We've been batting 1,000. We've been doing this show for about 5 months now. And that's the first time that's ever happened. So, that's pretty good, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a good record.
It's a unique experience. Here it is.
So, with the understanding that we might have another technical difficulty mid-story, why don't you share with our listeners maybe some of the experiences that you've had with clients, maybe an example of not necessarily one that went completely smooth, because I don't even know if those exist anymore, where you specifically stepped in without, I know you don't want to draw any attention to yourself and pat yourself on the back. I'll do all of the patting here. But tell us how some client maybe started the process, had some difficulty, and then it all worked out.
All right, I'll take this one. So,
this is Mark Hagler, everybody.
So I was thinking about what would be some fun stories and maybe what not to do.
Oh, yes.
So kind of throw a curveball.
Yeah, we like to try and incorporate a little bit of educational aspect to our show. So here's what not to do.
Yeah, so here's what not to do when you're trying to get a loan. So I had a client that we literally had documents signed. We're ready to fund the loan. And the client had decided to quit his job before funding and all of that.
And contingencies had all been removed?
Everything done, doc signed, and, you always check to make sure, hey, are you still employed? Well, that was a little bit of a surprise. So needless to say, that was a little bit of a problem for us to overcome there. So stay employed until you fund your loan. That would be like really good sage advice there for sure.
All right. So Mark, is this politically correct that I can say this? Mark is addressing the lowest common denominator aspect of people applying for loans. Stay employed. Yeah. If he or she wants to quit their job the day after it's recorded, more power to them, but they won't get funded if they quit prior to that because the underwriter does do a one more final check on employment status. Good to know, people. Good to know.
And I actually have a very sweet story. One of my absolute favorites in my 17 years doing this wonderful career.
Nice to work in that historical your tenure.
So basically we know when you're preparing to buy a house, the number one thing is to get pre-qualified. Part of pre-qualification, of course, starts with a basic application, documentation, and then maintaining the same or better profile, as Mark had been speaking to. So I had the sweetest young man. He was not even 20 years old.
Oh, good for him.
Yep, 2010, and was buying his first house in Vallejo. So we had him qualified truly within $5. $5 for his debt-to-income ratio and all of those wonderful things.
That's $5 a month, right?
Yes.
Okay.
$5 a month. We were that tight. And so as we're in contract, everything's going great. Everybody's excited. The appraisal's ordered. And we have to update credit before we go into underwriting. And, of course, we coach everybody to stay, keep everything the same. Well,
don't spend any money on your credit cards, things of that nature.
Yes. Well, guess what? This was right after Christmas. We run credit, and we have a new $18 a month debt. So it's not a lot. It doesn't sound like a lot.
But
it was enough to
yeah.
tip us over. And so what had he done? He had purchased an engagement ring for his fiancée.
So it wasn't a big screen TV getting ready for the Super Bowl. It was something genuine and legit.
So sweet. Absolutely. And so, unfortunately, we had to have this hard conversation. Does she want the ring or does she want the house? So he actually returned the engagement ring, and we did have a successful close. And I think the wonderful ending to the story is that not only were they able to buy that house, but 3 children later, they have now moved up into another property in American Canyon and are very happy.
Wonderful. That's a great story.
I love
that. That is a great story.
Well, that just tells you you hold on when you're in the middle of the transaction and you're about to get that loan, just don't let your eyes or mind wander to buying these.
Go straight to cash, people.
Yeah, just wait, hold on, buy the house first, then do whatever you want.
Right.
Buy the boat, buy the car, buy the ring.
Well, within reason.
Don't buy the RV. I'm not kidding. 300,000 RV. I mean, it was just.
Oh, yeah. You had that happen as well?
That was a little bit of a problem, but yeah. So I can relate to the whole don't incur more debt while you're mid-process, because that'll kind of whack out your debt-to-income ratios to get a loan approval.
What I always say is, we give a lot of guidance as what to do and what not to do. So you really have a wonderful track to run on. And so the rule of thumb I always tell my clients is, if you wonder if you should do something, that's your absolute call to reach out to Mark and I.
Yeah, and you will answer the wonder if question.
I will provide good, solid guidance.
Right. So, out of curiosity, obviously we're not mentioning any names here, but have there been some stories that didn't turn out so well? And what happened eventually with those people? Were they able to come back 6 months, a year later after something that they, a purchase that they made or something like that? Is anything like that?
Unfortunately, the RV buyer
is living in the RV now.
Kind of blew him out of the water. He's still a client, So, but that was kind of tough. The client that did quit his job, still a client, but we were not able to successfully close on that transaction. If you don't have a job, there's no income. It just completely, it just rattled everything.
Sure.
So, those two were problems.
I actually have a lot that will go through, will have a challenge per se. Maybe something comes up on credit, and it's just a matter of setting the right track for the client to run on, to get back on track, so to speak, or to be ready for a home purchase. So, if there are challenges, it doesn't mean they can't be overcome. It just may take a little bit of time.
Exactly. If you're just joining us, this is the Lee and Desi Real Estate Show, and we have Team Hagler. That means Mark and Kelly Hagler of Home Street Bank in studio with us, and we're learning about what not to do and what to do when applying for a home loan. And that, what you just said, Kelly, is very important, because I have spoken to clients that said, "Oh, Lee, I would love to buy a house, but there's just no way that I could." And I always tell them, you don't know if you can or not until you talk to the professionals. And even if you are correct and you can't, by not talking to them, you're not advancing toward that goal at all until you talk to them. And then they'll tell you, do this, do this, do this. Mm-hmm. And in some cases, it's 3 months later they can buy a house. Sometimes it's 18 months or longer, but at least they're making progress toward that goal.
Absolutely. And very rewarding. From a professional standpoint.
Oh, sure.
And ultimately hugely rewarding for that client who is willing to get in there, do the work, follow wonderful direction, and make it happen.
Right.
Yeah.
And you do get clients that come in, I'm sure, and they have problems with their credit and so forth. You kind of guide them and help them in that direction of pulling up that score?
Yeah, we do that with every client unless they're already like at an 800 credit score and there's just no way to improve upon it. Every other client, we're always looking to just as an extra value-added service with our clients. Hey, we look for feedback from our credit vendor. What would this client need to do to get from, say, hypothetically, a 680 credit score to a 700 or a 720 credit score?
Right.
And we get the feedback immediately, and the clients love it. They're like, whether you want to do it or not, it would translate to a better rate, though.
Right.
With the better pricing, the better credit score.
Because I know they do need help. Our clients do need help. Sometimes they come to us first, a lot of times, and we'll be like, okay, well, my credit score is low. Well, that's a red flag. So we're just like, okay. A lot of times I try to give them personal advice that I know to pull up their score, but somebody like yourself, you're talking to underwriters that are actually going to underwrite the loan and the loan docs. They are telling you, listen, this is what they need to do.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the underwriter. It's actually the credit report vendor that we work with.
Okay.
They have a department that is specifically for helping clients, get information to get those scores up.
Okay.
So it's just a practice we do with, 90+% of our clients, I would say, unless they're, already at that maximum, credit score threshold.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So what are we looking at in the future, guys? I mean, what is 2018 holding for buying homes and getting loans to buy homes?
I think the trend is, I think we're going to see rates continue to move up. Good news, bad news is the stock market is on a tear, and, so that's beautiful for our 401ks. But when you see stocks having a nice rally, typically it translates to mortgage-backed securities being a hit. So we are seeing a trend with rates moving up. But you know what? I think about 9/11 when that hit that day. I remember rates dropped 5/8 of a point that day. So things can happen like just out of the blue that will trigger a massive, event with pricing to either for the better or the worse.
Okay.
And even with rates trending upward, money is still incredibly inexpensive. I mean,
Right.
rates are absolutely fabulous. Even with increases, we're still in a beautiful position for homeowners. I think that, and I'll have to go back and do some additional studies, but the last research that I did showed about a 6 to 6.5% interest rate environment before we ended up in a position where there might be a little bit more thinking about jumping into home ownership versus renting.
Very good information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good information.
Yeah, I would say with the fires too, it's dramatically impacted the rental market where where a rental was $2,500 before the fires. All of a sudden there's just no supply, and we're seeing these houses renting for a lot more than that. So if anything, I think home ownership is really attractive right now, given the rental market as it is, because
In the
money
short
is
term,
very, very cheap
absolutely.
to borrow. Yeah.
Kelly, I don't want to put you on the spot here, but I remember you sharing with me, and I'm asking this question for clarification. With the average home price in Napa, I think it was for every increase in 0.5% on the interest rate impacted the affordability index by approximately $40,000. Is that right?
It is, and it's of course it's subject to rate and product and whatnot, but that was
An approximate, yeah.
Yes, in our marketplace, based on the average sales price, that's about what it equates to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all the more reason why it's better to proceed now, and you can get
Right.
$40,000 more of a house rather than if interest rates increase 0.5%.
Yeah, because what I've read, and prices are still going up. We're still going to see home prices going up because of the lack of inventory. So with that and the unfortunate rates, well, it's not so much unfortunate because we do need some breathing room, but the rates going up, that kind of cuts into the affordability. So if you're going to do it, you do it now. This would be the year to do it,
Yeah, and here I just had this conversation last week with a first-time home buyer in office, and the initial response can be, "Oh, do we need to save more? Do we need to pay down more debt?" What I can speak with absolute conviction to is that in my 17 years, outside of someone getting an inheritance or a significant bonus, you really can't find people, the average home buyer, that will outsave the market. So by the time a client has saved that additional $25,000, the market has appreciated to the point
Right.
where, in fact, they're back to where they started.
Yep.
Without the appreciation and increasing of net worth.
Right.
Man, you're smart.
That is, that's thought provoking right there.
Yeah, I mean, I repeat that. Sure,
That wasn't scripted.
But no, it wasn't scripted, but you can't outsave
Right.
the appreciation of the market.
In very rare instances have I ever seen a client who felt that they could outsave the market, accomplish that. In only in instances, I'll say in 17 years, has it occurred, and it's typically an inheritance or
Well, I was just
some
going to say, yeah.
lump sum
Right.
that has
Right.
been received. But just the average home buyer in our marketplace trying to save up to buy their home or to lower their payment obligation or whatever it is they're trying to accomplish, I've not seen it happen. The market will always out appreciate, or has anyway, the client saving.
Right.
Well, do you work with, let's see, any programs that may help for down payment assistance, anything like that?
We do. We, of course, have our wonderful local programs that are
Right.
city and county based.
Mhm.
We also have our California products that I am certified to do with Home Street. So we have down payment assistance as well as grants. The grants, if they are a fit, do not require any repayment. We also utilize an amazing partnering company that pretty much facilitates the same thing as a down payment assistance named Unison, and we are one of the only lenders in our marketplace that have this program, and it's a very, very powerful tool to have. Yeah.
If you want more information, you, the listener, should go to kellyhagler.com. That's KELLYHAGLER.com. All the information on how to reach Team Hagler. And Team Hagler isn't just Mark and Kelly Hagler. You have literally a team of other folks that work with you and make it all happen, right?
We sure do, yeah. Mark Pavlovic, he's a junior loan officer and just incredible talent. We have 2 client relationship managers, Julie Miesbaugh and Cynthia Gonzalez, and they are, I call them ninjas because they're just amazing talent. So they really kind of connect the dots for us. So Kelly and I are able to get out and do these fun radio shows and talk to clients, hang out with great real estate agents. You know, it's beautiful.
That's awesome.
Here's that $20, Mark. All right. Well, we know that you are off to another appointment. We greatly appreciate you coming in today and not only enlightening us, but enlightening our listening audience as well. You guys be safe on your travels up to Up Valley to your appointment.
Yeah.
And we will see you in the title company signing escrows as we go forward in 2018.
Awesome.
You so much
Thanks, guys, for the
having us.
invite.
Once again, that is Team Hagler, Home Street Bank, and you can get in touch with them at kellyhagler.com, kellyhagler.com, and you'll want to reach out to them. They're great folks.
That was a fun interview.
That was.
Yeah, they're great guys.
Yeah.
I tell you right now. So
we're going to cut to commercial.
thanks, Tom. No, that's the beauty of live radio. Just anything could happen.
That wasn't a technical difficulty.
No, that wasn't technical. Not at all. I tell you what, though, that surprises me. All the little today, I was just like, whoa! Everything was just going off, and we had our intro going, and at a wrong time, and we had to abruptly come on the air. So yeah, it was caught me off.
It all worked out just stellar because we had such great guests here in the studio.
Yeah, I was flinging my arms around. You saw me, man. My arms were going everywhere trying to get things done, man.
I kept looking at you as to, are you going to pipe in here with a question?
Yeah.
And then there was sweat on your brow, and we had Jamin, we had Will in here, everybody trying to help fix the problem.
I almost felt like Airplane. Remember Airplane, that one scene where water's gushing down his face? I felt like that right there, just wiping water. Oh, fun times. It's good. We'll think about these times and laugh.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
There's no no reason to get upset because you can't change anything, so it just works out fine.
All right. Well, another technical glitch. We're not going to listen to our intro music, but going on our way out. But oh well, we'll hear it coming back in. Okay, how about that?
All right, no problem.
Anyway, so we are going off to a break. We got to pay some bills, and we'll be right back with the Lee and Desi Real Estate Show.
Good morning, Napa Valley. Welcome back to the Lee and Desi Real Estate Show. I'm Lee W. Miller.
And I'm Desi Capaz, and we have our intro back.
Yes, we have our music. All is right with the world.
Oh, gosh. We need that.
We are realtors with Heritage Sotheby's Realty here in Napa, and we live, eat, sleep, and breathe real estate. This is what we do. We're not part-timers. We have served on the Napa Chapter Norbar Council. Desi is the current chair of that council, and I have been in the past. And it is time for this day in history. So, in 1980, the PGA begins a senior golf tour. I always thought that it had been around longer than that, so I was pretty surprised to see that. That I guess they weren't good enough for the PGA Tour, so they started a senior tour, for which I would qualify by age, but not by ability. 1982, on this day in history, 75% of North America is covered with snow.
Wow. Kind of almost like this year.
Yeah, well,
Not
yeah.
Maybe.
Super cold, but I don't know if the vastness of the geography is covered.
Right.
And then in 1985, a cold wave damaged 90% of all of Florida's citrus crop in 1985. Were you still living in Florida then?
Yes, I was.
Okay, so you remember that. It was
yeah.
cold.
Oh, we do have those cold waves.
I'm not going to get into global warming discussion because this is a real estate show, but I did find that it interesting that way back then, 30 plus years ago, we had multiple instances of very, very cold weather or climate change. And then, of course, the most enjoyable this day in history for today, 1989, was Super Bowl 23, where your San Francisco 49ers beat the Cincinnati Bengals 20-16, and Jerry Rice was the MVP.
You know, I remember that Super Bowl.
Oh, man, that was great.
That was a good Super Bowl.
That was
Boomer Esiason.
Danny. Well, I don't remember because I was a diehard Niners fan, so I don't.
Or no, was that Kenny Anderson? No,
I think it was
Esiason.
Esiason.
Esiason. That's
yeah,
right,
it
Esiason.
was. But what's his name? Ken Buns. Mm-hmm. No, Dan. Dan Buns was a linebacker for the 49ers, and he did that great goal line stand. Mm-hmm. And when I lived in the Sacramento area, his wife was my dentist.
Oh, okay. Nice.
How's that for trivia?
That's
so trivial that it's...
No, what is it, 6 people to
Yeah,
Kevin Bacon?
6 degrees of separation. All right, and it's time now for our real estate trivia, and we don't have our bell here anymore. Somebody moved our bell.
It's out, actually on my desk over there.
But the trivia for today is, in the United States, there are 5 times as many empty houses as there are homeless people.
Gosh.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
They're just sitting empty.
Uh-huh. And we just vacant, nothing.
Yeah, 5 times as many. So, even if you took 20% of that and put 5 people in each house, you'd cover the, So there's your trivia.
A lot of thinking involved there. Yeah, we have to do something as a community and really,
As a nation, really. So.
Really as a nation, yeah.
So every week, or just about every week, we do a drawing for a bottle of wine, courtesy of Vintners Collective. And so if you'd like to be entered into that drawing, just shoot us an email at leeanddesi@gmail.com or visit our website, leeanddesi.com, or shoot us a tweet at leeanddesi, and you will be entered, and you might win that bottle of wine.
I do want to mention something that is going to go on tonight at 5:30 p.m. It's Supervisor Alfredo Pendroza, District 4. He's hosting a rebuilding informational meeting. It's, like I said, today from starting at 5:30 at Silverado Resort. That's the Mansion Garden Pavilion, 1600 Atlas Peak Road. So again, he's going to have some informational meeting that has to do with the fires, and it's tonight at 5:30 at the Silverado Resort.
And you might be a fire victim and certainly want to go to that, but you may not be. You may be interested in acquiring land, and there's lots that are now available, people who have decided not to rebuild. You might be a contractor. You might be a tradesman of all sorts. That would be a good place for you to go and learn more about the recovery. And with no further ado, let us welcome Tom McDonald from Signet Reverse Mortgage. You can always reach Tom at 265-6385 or Tom at reversemortgageconsultant.com.
Good morning, Lee. Desi. Hi.
Hey, Tom.
doing?
How are you doing?
Good to see you again.
Thank you.
So what do you have for us today?
We're going to continue talking about those people who say that they don't really need a reverse mortgage now. That maybe
Who
those-
says that?
Well, a couple, 3 people I've talked
Yeah.
to. And in past shows, we've talked real quick things that happen that they don't plan on. Death of a spouse means perhaps the death or the loss of a Social Security check and a pension check, perhaps. The portfolio might run out. They say they're still working and not going to retire, but then sometimes medical or mental issues happen. They think they're going to get more money in a reverse mortgage when they're older because there is a little bit more as you get older, all things being equal. But part of our show also talked about now or later, and now is generally the right time because of what could happen later, if nothing else, rising interest rates. So today I'm going to add the last of the things to be thinking about. One is long-term care. So people, in surveys, it's something like 65% of those over 65 say that they won't need long-term care. Yet 70% of those people over 65, at least at some time in their life, need long-term care.
70%?
Yes.
Wow, those are
Yes.
not good odds
I'm
to not have
hearing
it.
that myself.
Yeah.
And, that costs money. It's very expensive. The things that they also don't think about, inflation.
All right.
I tripped across from my high school classmate. She sent me a menu from Monterey, and beer in 1966 was 30 cents. A glass of beer was 30 cents.
though.
Wow.
So that's
I got them
that's
as low as a
inflation for
nick.
you.
I got them as low as a nickel though back in the '80s though at nickel beer
Wow.
night.
Well, at nickel beer night, yeah.
Right.
And in a Dixie cup.
Oh God, the good old days.
So inflation sneaks up on you. It's just amazing what the difference in dollars can be over time.
Oh, sure.
Even with low inflation.
Right.
We had some high inflation back there in the
Sure.
70s and early 80s, but that just can eat up the money. And so you have savings and you think you're doing okay, but so anyhow, and then something else. Things happen. We talked about on October 2nd, FHA changed the rules and lowered the principal limit factor. In English, that's loan to value. And all of a sudden, people were getting roughly 20% less in their reverse mortgage than they had on October 1st or before. And they've done that 3 times now, in addition to that time where we went down 20%. And I've got people who would like to do a reverse mortgage, but now there's not enough money in the pot to cover their
Yeah.
existing mortgage. So it's real frustrating for me to see people put it off, and then later on, when they really would like to have had it, can't. And that's why I say those who think they don't need a reverse mortgage now don't understand it. And
Right.
I know so much about reverse mortgages, and there's lots of little ins and outs that people just don't know. They kind of have this simple ideas, and they just don't have a handle on what can happen in the future and why the value of the reverse mortgage now, such as the line of credit, grows.
Right.
So there can be a lot more money later.
That's the very reason they need to at least engage with you, have that conversation, know, because I'm saying it, that they can trust you to tell them the honest truth, whether it's a good fit for them or not. But you have to pick up the phone. You've got to call Tom. You've got to email Tom. Calling him at 265-6385 or email at tom@reversemortgageconsultant.com. He will give you the straight scoop. You can trust him. You have my word on it. Tom,
Thanks again, Lee.
thank you very much for coming in today. We appreciate you being our key sponsor.
Quite welcome. I enjoy it.
Good enough.
Thanks, Tom.
All right, so we are going to move on.
Okay.
We've got some listings that we wanted to talk about because that's always fun to do.
Yeah, we were going to try something new today on our show to see if just expressing some of the listings that we see on a weekly basis. That each week we're out touring homes, me and Lee, and we come across some gems out there, and maybe we should let you folks know about it.
That's what we're thinking.
Yeah.
So in Napa Valley, a fixer, that's the real estate term for needs a little bit of work.
Yeah.
Deferred maintenance is the politically correct. Those are highly sought after, and
Right.
yet they're more and more difficult to find.
Mm-hmm.
But just hours ago, earlier this morning, 934 Clinton Street in Napa came on the market, and it meets that criteria. This is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath with 847 square feet, built in 1890. Talk about some historical significance there.
Yes.
Right in the heart of downtown. It's pretty much at Clinton and Main Street. This is obviously walking distance to anything close by, restaurants and what have you. It's got a newer foundation, so the big, heavy, expensive repairs have already been done. Now it just needs some aesthetic updates. The lot is 117 feet deep, and the character of this home is still there. It just needs someone to come in and make it the charmer that it once was. So if you are interested in that home, or you know someone that's looking for a fixer, you can reach out to Lee and Desi at gmail.com, or give us a call, 266-1585, and you will get 2 realtors for the same price, which is no
Free.
cost to you if you want to buy that house. There
It's
is no
free.
cost to you.
Yeah, that is one thing that we do. Buyers have to realize out there that you do not pay for your realtor.
Right.
It comes
Right.
from the listing, and
Right.
the listing agent. They negotiate the commission there with the owner. So that comes from them. We are free to you.
Yeah.
So you get
So use
2 of
us.
us.
Just don't
Yeah.
abuse us.
Yeah, don't abuse us. That's it. Don't abuse us. So yeah, that's a great value right there, right down in downtown area. You're right. What, across the street from Azzurro or
Right.
Pizza.
Right. It's right behind that new 3-story building
Right.
that's there.
And that's a lot of action going on.
Right.
So if, I could see like a young couple or, young family looking to see, just kind of working in the center of Napa, or not so much there, just wanting to be in the vibe of Napa, that would be a good place. Now, of course, you got to come in and, you're going to have to upgrade a lot of things.
Right.
It's not a bad thing. I tell you, I did it.
That's actually the best way
I
to
think
acquire
so.
real estate is
Yeah.
put that sweat equity into it, and don't buy one. I mean, it depends on what your skill set is and
Sure.
time and everything else, but this is at least an opportunity to, when you're all said and done, and
Right.
especially if you can do a lot of that work yourself, this house would, if it was all fixed up, would probably sell for over $600,000, maybe the mid sixes. So, you got a $50,000 budget, you'll instantly have $100,000 in equity if you can fix this up for $50,000. So just kind of keep that in mind. That's why we're bringing this information to you.
Yeah, I just did that this summer. I bought a fixer-upper, and yeah, it's a lot of sweat and tears. I will say that. There's no doubt
blood?
about that. And some blood.
Okay.
They're actually, some blood. Actual blood. So yeah, it does happen, but it at the end of the day, it's all yours. You put your footprint on it, or your thumbprint on it, as I guess we can say, and you're gonna have many more memories to build upon. So
And you get it the way that you want it too.
Right.
One of the things I always get frustrated with is sometimes sellers recognize that their carpet is really bad, so they go out and they get new carpet, and it's not the right carpet for the buyer.
Right.
And I've had buyers just walk away and say, I don't want to rip brand new carpet out and have to pay, all of that. So now let's keep looking for something else, Lee.
Yeah.
But if the seller had just said, why don't we just say, here's a $4,000 or $5,000 flooring credit that the buyer knows that they're going to receive. Then they get to go out and spend $5,000 that the seller is going to pay for and get whatever kind of flooring that they want. Maybe it's carpet, maybe it's not.
Right. Yeah, and that's a very good point. That's a very good point. A lot of times, you do want to doll your house up a little bit to the two buyers.
Yeah.
But, it depends on paint color on the outside, depends on flooring, and what does that buyer like? So you're kind of stuck. You're kind of thinking, what should I do? And that happened just not too long ago in North Napa, where there was a house. I know the owner went in and changed. Now they went with a nice, I would say, a nice neutral white color for the house. So if a buyer does come in, they can come in, and if they didn't like all white, they can change it. It's pretty relatively easy to do. But the point is that you kind of, you're now the buyer's more than likely going to have to change the color of the house. You could give that credit to, as a seller, you can give that credit to the buyer. So that's a good point, Lee.
Yeah.
Now, let me see. We have another listing here that I want to mention. Now, this one's been on the market for just a little over 3 months. I don't think it has anything to do with the property itself, but it is on F Street in Napa. So you're in the Alphabet Streets, and it's $799,000. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, built in 1988. No, I'm sorry.
I was going to say.
No. I got the word. No, the square footage is 1988, built in 1925. It's another older home, but they redid everything. So, you can also, there's also a second unit involved.
Yeah.
So
I remember touring that property. That having a second unit and probably being able to rent that out for $1,200, $1,300, and you've got that income to offset your mortgage payment. So you live in the front, which I think is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath?
Yes.
2-bedroom, 1-bath. I think it's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath.
It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, or a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, actually. It's smaller. So it's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath for the second unit.
Right, but the front unit is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath.
Yeah, the front unit where you would more likely live would be the 2-bedroom, 1-bath. So that creates the 3-2. And yeah, I mean, for right now,
that 1,988 square feet is the combined square footage of both units. I think
exactly
the back unit is about 700 square feet, if I recall. It's been 3 months since I toured that home.
Mm-hmm. So you think about it, you sit there and you're like, okay, well, what does a second unit do for me? Well, say if you have a 30-year fix, on that with 20% down, okay, and that's going to vary, of course. Your payments, you could be seeing something like in the you could say maybe about $4,000. You may see. You can rent that one for probably, I'm just going to say, $1,200 maybe.
I'm thinking
maybe
11
more,
or 12, yeah.
Right.
Especially that close to downtown.
Yeah. Yeah. So now a portion. You're looking at over 25% of the mortgage is covered now, and that is something to consider. And I think that's what the Napa laws have relaxed for, because, well, and especially for the fire victims, is that we need more ADUs,
accessory dwelling units.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're speaking real estate here.
Sure. And so we need more of those, and this is what this particular home has to offer right up front. You don't have to build it. It is there waiting. So at $799,000, there's F Street in Napa.
And you say $799. That is the list price on this. If there's someone that's listening that says, doggone it, I already know that I can't qualify for any more than $750. Don't be shy. If you're working with a realtor, tell them you want to make an offer for $750. Don't worry about offending the seller, because this is a business transaction and you need to do what's best for you. I always advocate that for my clients, that we'll make an offer of whatever you feel comfortable with. Worst thing that can happen is it's rejected. Best thing that can happen is accepted, and a counter is in between that, and that's not bad either.
Well, I always dig just a little bit deeper, and I'm sure you do too, but I just want to make sure if they really, really want this home, then I would say be reasonable with your offer. And if, for being a lower offer, let's be reasonable because we want a counter back. Some owners may just sit there and go, oh, 50,000 less. Well, they're not getting a counter. They're out of here.
Right.
And we don't want to see another one. I hate to lose that for the buyer if they go, oh, but we really wanted it.
But I counsel my sellers too.
Yeah.
You got a fish on the line.
Sure.
Don't reject it and ignore it.
Right.
Counter them.
It just depends on who's on the other side. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. No.
Right?
But
So I play
both.
a nice game.
Yeah. This is part of our impromptu educational series.
Sure.
We're talking about buyers and sellers to not be shy.
Right. Well, and just a little side note to this house, it cleared all of Section 1 reports.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's a big one.
Right.
You don't really have anything to worry about if you go into this at FHA. You're fine.
Right.
So and plus you don't have to worry about buying that report. So cleared Section 1 report. So look, this is a little bit of a gem. You go and you can give us a call. Obviously, you can contact us at leeandDesi@gmail.com, or you can call us on either or. And my line is 707-260-9906. If you're interested in F Street in Napa, the price, like I said, is $799,000, and you get a second unit. And
that's
a lot
only
of it has been upgraded.
$402 a foot. So that's the normal cost per square foot in Napa, especially in around downtown, is going to be upwards of $600 a foot. So for our educational continuing thing. You just said that it's already cleared Section 1. There's a lot of people that probably don't know what Section 1 is.
Exactly.
And Section 1 are the health and safety issues that were discovered during a pest inspection. That could be dry rot. That could be pest infestation. Obviously, if there's active infestation, you'd need a professional pest worker to go in there and set poison and eradicate the active infestation. But it's not going to be something like a cracked window or fog in between dual pane windows or things of that nature. Those are not health and safety issues.
Right.
They still probably need to be done at some point. But the lender requires that the health and safety issues be taken care of before the close of escrow. And so this is a savvy seller that they went ahead, had the inspection done in advance, and took care of all of those Section 1 items, corrected all of them, and that has been signed off by the original inspector that did the inspection and has a clean bill of health now. So one of the advantages as a seller for doing that is you are eliminating the possibility of your buyer coming back to you and negotiating. Sure, I'll give you $799. Then I'm going to do my inspections. And then I'm going to find $30,000 worth of repairs that need to be done. And guess what? I want you to pay for those.
Right.
And in this scenario, that seller has taken that off the table.
And we got to look at the report, because the report, we don't know what the seller, if he cleared it. So the seller paid a certain amount of money to clear those health and safety issues. So what was that amount? I mean, so if you're coming in and you're a buyer and you're going, well, like you just said, well, I just saw a couple other things, I want it lowered even, well, the seller has just put in some money into the house to clear all those type of issues, which are very important. Infestation of termites, you don't want that in the house, especially if you got wood siding and so forth, like this house does. You don't want that to occur. You got some dry rot, it's all probably been taken care of already. So all those little issues are now clear, and you can kind of walk in, and sure, you may see fog through the or whatever the case may be, but that's those are just little minor I would say just maybe some minor repairs that
Sure.
that the buyer, and you guys can still further negotiate. It's not like you can't negotiate.
Right.
But again, just to keep in mind, the buyer has to know that, hey, look, the seller did step up, clear all that, and a 1925 home is going to have issues. It's not going to be like it was all clean. They paid $500.
Right. This home in particular, though, has been fully remodeled. So
Exactly.
I haven't looked at the report, but I'm pretty confident that all the Section 1 issues were taken care of as
time.
part of the remodeling of the home. Right. So in essence, it's like a brand new home.
Exactly. So it's that is one home to consider. You got two of them today. See, hopefully that'll work out, and you can contact us, and we'll get you your dream home.
Or if you just have any questions in general about real estate, that's what we're here for. We do receive emails occasionally where we get questions from our listeners, and we address those directly with those listeners, but we don't necessarily talk about them all on the air. So,
Yeah.
But we want to be a resource for anyone that's thinking about selling or buying, not just for us to be your agent, but we also just want to be there to answer your questions and help out.
Well, here's a little note to take home with you, because we are running out of time. But this is why we need sellers and we need more homes on the market. It's because from last year, same month last year, for sale homes are down 10% in Napa County. So 10.8% to be exact. So that's why we need more homes on the market. Even from last month, from November to December. Sales for sale homes have gone down 23%. So we need more. Yeah, from 300 homes to 231.
Wow.
So let's help out by, if you're on the fence, think about it. It's a good time to put your home on the market.
When there's that much of a shortage, you're going to get top dollar.
You're going to get top dollar.
Absolutely.
That's what I was thinking. Well, folks, thank
we
you.
will see you next week. And we've got a great show next week. We got the folks from Napa Oaks, both the developer and the opposition coming in studio, so you don't want to miss that one.
That's on Monday, next Monday at 11 a.m. right here on 1440 a.m. See you guys.